And to add to that conversation about a nation that its peoples are ruled by laws, that law must be perfect. Let me give you an example about the law and how that law governs. You remember there was a period in time in America's history where there was a prohibition against the alcohol. And during that period in time, a lot of people were slaughtered, a lot of people were murdered, a lot of people were put in prison and did jail times and all kinds of, just to operate such a desire. And the law prohibited. So the people wanted to express themselves anyway, and that is the result. Time passed, the law changed, and people can use alcohol by many ways. Nobody's dying and getting killed by trying to make money off of it. They might be dying and getting killed because of it. You see, when you consume this alcohol, many times people consume it to have fun, to relax. But oftentimes the result is that somebody gets belligerent, they want to fight, and they start being violent, abusive, verbal and physical, to their spouses and to others, while we have barroom fights and fights in the streets and gangs, have all of these things as a result of the alcoholism. I mean, don't even mention driving, causing accidents, hurting themselves and others because of this alcohol. That's legal. Oh, they try to put some restrictions on it about driving and stuff like this, but when you consume it, you do what you do. And so we have before us a law being expressed in the usage of alcohol. Now let's switch to marijuana. Now, there's a law against marijuana. You, just like in before in Prohibition, you arrested, put in jail, put in prison. And as a result of it being illegal, you have gangs and wars and crime and violence and people killing and murdering each other just like they did with Prohibition. And there will come a time when the law will change. And these things will be as normal. The difference in this than that in alcohol is that there are no indications of people getting violent and belligerent, abusive, verbal, or physical because in behind the smoking of marijuana. Nobody getting in cars, causing accidents because of marijuana. And yet, it is still a complicated matter to take away those restrictions. And why? Why? That's a deeper story. That's a deeper story, but it's all behind the laws. The laws must be perfect. And if the laws are not perfect, then we will have these results, as I just mentioned to you, ladies and gentlemen, about alcoholism and marijuana. It will be in every facet of life because the laws prohibit some for the benefit of others, even if they have to slip and do it and get caught doing stuff black market under the table. Why do they do it? Because there's something that the law is restricting. It is tying up their peace, their prosperity. It is tying up their joy. And they're trying to find some underhand means, if must be, to achieve it without the support of the law. And the reason that we say the law can't support it is because we say it's bad. It does this. It harms some, and usually the special interest. But what I say to you, in order to avoid this, is to make sure from the onset that a law that would benefit some and hurt others is nothing to be considered. That every law must be considered and its impact on everyone. And the impact must be positive, or it will not be considered. I say to you as American people, I say that to you as people of the world. What's wrong with that? I'm saying this to you. How many more of those of you are saying the same things? And are you being listened to? Are you listening? This will bring us peace. It'll end nuclear bombs and all of the things that we fear, because we are being kind to one another. And whom and what should we fear? Come on. I know you guys got as much sense as I do. I'm just a country boy picking cotton and chopping cotton in Mississippi who couldn't wait to finish college so I can get out of that city. And now when I go back to my hometown, I'm embarrassed because everything seems to be so dead. And why is it dead? Because those who had the opportunity, those who had the ability to do something and to make it better, ran for higher ground, and to come back and expecting something to have been achieved. It won't happen, and it won't happen in our larger society. It won't happen in our country. If we go all and get on the side of selfishness and not think about our whole, don't think about others, don't think about the earth. Come on. These things happen because they happened before us. And we have not matured beyond that. In fact, we have regressed even deeper than where we had come, going back past our history. But I say to all of you, let's go forward. Let's go higher and higher and higher. Come on. How many of you dads out there want to do things for your kids and can't because you broke? How many of you keep your heads bent down because you don't feel like a man, because you broke? You living in a society that says in order for you to do anything, you got to have some money, but you can't find a job. Oh, you found a job, but it pays so little, and the cost of things is so high that when you put it together, you still struggling. Having to eat at soup lines sometimes, having to go to the food shelters, driving yourselves mad, fighting each other because you're going through the pain and suffering. How many of you just saying, tired, stop it? How many of you want to stop it? How many of you think it's just going to stop? It's not going to just stop, and you know that. And you don't have to think about doing things violently. I know we have been brought up in a world when everything came against us and we wanted to do something about it. All we saw as a result to help us was violence. Violence begets violence. But I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's not going to get it. That's not going to get it. I want you to know that we are what we are because of what we have become from what we were. If we don't like that, we got to try something that has never been tried before. It's been talked about since the beginning of time. It's been talked about doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's been talked about, but we haven't done it. I propose we do it. I propose we do it. Let's do it. Now, I know you're thinking that you might do it, but another country might not. And when you decide to do it, you become vulnerable. And when you become vulnerable, they're going to come and get you just like you would do them. Just like you would do them. Let me tell you something. If you can make up your mind to do the right thing, do that. And you are protected. I would like to try to describe it to you, but I can't. Not in a way that you'd understand if you haven't had it, if you have not experienced it. But I can say to you, you will be protected. Have you ever heard of something about the Red Sea splitting open? Have you heard about fire raining from heaven and meeting a cause? Have you ever heard about things like that? You will be protected because your light must shine, if not forever, at least for a little while, so the others can begin to meet in and glow and glow.